View TV, new media with a difference.
Hello and welcome to the Stella King Show. I'm your host once again, Stella King, and today we have another amazing show for you today, for all you viewers out there. Now, I just want you all to sit back and watch this clip with me as we start.
Good morning everyone, my name is Elliot and I'm a grateful recovering addict. It is day 162 today. Today I woken up buzzing, feeling happy, and certain track has come on. So I'm playing some retro music, some 80s, some 90s on this morning, and I'm dancing around the house like I can't dance. But I'm not going to go into self-possession. Well, I'm going to try not to, at least, anyway. So, Lola, darling, this is what happiness looks like for your dad today.
Last night I told you I loved you. Woke up blamed it
On the vodka.
Okay guys, so you've seen that clip. Now today's topic is about drugs addictions, and I have on this show Elliot Turner himself. Hi Elliot, how are you?
Hi, very well, thank you.
I'm glad to have you on the show today. I've heard your story. Me and you've talked quite a few times, and so when it comes to drugs, I know you've been clean for the last 6 months and you're currently in recovery. Well, you've been in recovery for 16 months, am I right?
Yeah.
If you can tell us and the viewers out there how this journey began.
How it began? Wow. So I was an addict in active addiction for 22 years.
Okay.
It started when I was around the age of 13. I used marijuana, cannabis, and then it progressed on to ecstasy. And I was always, I suppose, trying to find a way of fixing my feelings.
Yes.
You're looking for that more intense buzz. And then I got to around the age, I'd say late teens, and started to hang around with a group of football hooligans.
Okay.
And then picked up then cocaine, and I straight away I felt a part of something. It gave me that, where I felt I belonged somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'd never had that.
Okay.
So I then subsequently went on to use alcohol and cocaine, right throughout my 20s into my 30s, and then it got to the point then where I found my gift of desperation. It was last year, beginning of April. I was in my kitchen at home.
Yeah.
And I fell to my knees at about 2 o'clock in the morning in my kitchen, looked up, and I was extremely emotional, crying, and just said, help me. I didn't know quite what I was praying to or looking to. So, needless to say, I then picked the phone up and rang a rehab centre in Oxfordshire, in Banbury. And I asked them, could I come in? And the guy had said to me, yes, we can, we've got a place for you earlier, but it's going to be a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't understand. I haven't got a couple of weeks. I need to come in now.
Yeah.
So I went in the next day and started my journey.
Wow. You said it all started when you were 13. Like, what led you to go into it? How did you actually start taking drugs?
So I work a program today, Stella,
Yes.
and I have a therapist, mental health team that work with me, my family, and I've been in recovery for a little under 16 months, as you said earlier.
Yeah, I'm listening.
And for me, what my program teaches us is that we look to fix our feelings. So what I mean is that there's an addiction specialist called Dr. Garber Mate,
Okay.
who I follow on YouTube.
Yes.
He does a lot of TEDx talks around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And his theory of addiction is that when he was a baby, he grew up in the time of the Holocaust, when the Germans, obviously Hitler, were invading, and his mother rang the GP and said, "Will you come and see my baby Garbo because he's crying?"
Yeah.
And the doctor said to his mother, "Of course I'll come and see Garbo, but I must tell you that all of my Jewish babies are crying."
Wow.
And he goes on then to explain, and ask the question, why Jewish babies? What did Jewish babies know of Germans, of genocide, of the Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
concentration camps? And his theory is that the mums they went into what I identify what today is called fight or flight mode.
Okay.
So-
Fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the mothers then, they were looking to looking for shelter for their families and
Yeah.
their kids, and looking for food.
Mm-hmm.
So logistically, nature wise, they were there for their children, but he didn't get his nurture. So I suppose in a roundabout way, what I would like to say, for me personally, for this addict, I had a great childhood, great upbringing. So when I hit 13, my mum and dad separated.
Okay, so you feel that was the turning point that led you to start taking drugs?
Yeah,
Led you to separation?
because I didn't feel loved.
You
I
feel
felt-
love, so you basically look for love somewhere else,
Mm.
in something else.
Yeah.
Is that how you would explain it?
Yeah.
Wow, literally. Okay, wow, powerful. And then you go on to say, so eventually throughout the years you finally met a group of people where you felt you were actually a part of them, and that made you go, like, I'm sorry, don't get soft on me, please. I can feel it, but I know it's very emotional, but I'm actually happy that you've been able to come out of it, to be honest, you've been so strong, because I can see that obviously, what you're trying to do now is help other addicts out there.
Yeah.
People like, I know what you said, like, someone could be in that same situation you were in and literally be on their knees crying out for help, and they may not actually know where they need to go to.
Yeah.
So, no, to be honest, it's a great thing actually that you're able to come out and actually speak about it, honestly.
Thanks.
Yeah, it really is. So as you were saying, like, so this group of people, when you joined them, you felt like you were part of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it because you were all doing the same thing, or?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, today I understand who Little Elliot is. So there's a big Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big Elliot and Little Elliot.
Yes.
Little Elliot, he walked in one day from school, and my mum was sat against the sofa, in tears. And I walked in, I must have been 13 at the time, and I sat down beside her, and we were very close. I put my arm around her and I said, what's up?
Yeah.
Why are you crying, Mum?
Yeah.
And she said, that my dad hadn't paid the maintenance that month, and that we were broke. And I asked her how broke,
Yeah.
and she then went on to say that we could be out on the streets. And for me, it sent me into fight mode.
Yeah.
So I then went on to, I thought to myself, how do I control the situation? So I went into selling drugs. So I suppose digressing, what I'm trying to say is that I identified vulnerability with pain as a child. And so I needed to control my environment, and there was a certain family member at the time keeping with this person's anonymity, of course. He was the football hooligan,
Yeah.
and he was actually flagged up on Panorama for headhunting football organised crime.
Okay.
So he was, a dangerous person.
Yeah.
But it was very attractive to me
Wow.
because he would intimidate his environment,
Yeah.
control his environment, and I felt safe and protected by him.
Yes.
And because of my dad not being around, it was natural then that I warmed towards him. And
So you looked at him as a father figure, some protection. Wow. When you finally decided to really go out there to look for help, what actually pushed you to finally say, I've had enough, I need to come out of it, and what pushed you for such desperation?
so again, my program. I'm not a religious person. I chatted with you about that a couple of times before. About being not religious but extremely spiritual.
Yeah.
And my program encourages me to connect with a higher power. And the gift of desperation, if I'm to break it down into the first letters, it actually stands at the word God.
Okay, good.
So, and I've always asked this. I have, someone who works with me, who takes me through my program, and I asked him, and I often ask him, Stella, why me? Why did I get the gift of desperation? Because there is a statistic, and it's really scary, and that is that there's only 1 to 2% of addicts and alcoholics that go on to lead happy, fulfilling lives. And when I first heard about that in rehab, I thought it was a scaremongering tactic.
Yeah.
I thought they were lying to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not. It is a true statistic. 1 to 2%,
reality. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm really honest with you.
You really don't know what happened that
I don't know why I was given the gift of desperation.
Yes.
And those other 9 people out of the 10 of us weren't. I've had friends who I used with when I was in my early adolescent years. There were 5 of us. One hung himself and the other overdosed. And the other 2 are still using. They haven't found their gift of desperation. But there again, there's nothing to suggest yet that they are addicts. And that's where the line is difficult. I mean, I always identified myself, Stella, as I didn't think I was an addict. And so some people go to the pub. I always remember sitting down with a friend, and we had 2 pints, and we both had a line of cocaine. And he said, "Thanks for a great night, Elliot. I'm off now, going back to see my partner. and sit down and have a takeaway and watch the soaps. And I remember thinking to myself, is it me? Have I said something, or did I say something wrong or out of place? Or the fun's only just getting started. How can you possibly want to go home to watch the soaps and eat food?
Mm-hmm.
And now, even talking about it to you,
Yeah.
I identify the frustration in my face. I can feel it, and in my mind, it takes me back, because for an addict, once I get hold of something, I need more and more and more and more of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise that at the time. So he could go home, I never could. And
Did you know when you were taking all these drugs that you were actually an addict, or did you not believe it? How did you see yourself? As an addict, or just what you were normal like everyone else?
Yeah, that's if I'm to be honest,
Yeah.
Stella, that's exactly how I saw myself. Everyone else was drinking when I was drinking. Everyone else was using cocaine when I was using cocaine. We would be in and out of the toilets, in multiple bars and restaurants throughout the night. And I didn't see anything wrong with that. So someone once asked me the same question, and I suppose today I can honestly say that, when I got to my sort of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th pint,
Yeah.
I didn't know how drunk they were. I'd lost count of how much they were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have been totally out of it, which I wasn't many a times, and they might be only on their 2nd or 3rd pint. So for me, I suppose what I found is that also what didn't help that was that I didn't like the feeling of being dizzy. I didn't like the fuzziness. I didn't like the double vision. So I used a rule. We had a rule as a group of friends, and it was called the 2-pint rule, where we would consume 2 pints of alcohol, whether it be cider, lager, beer, or maybe a couple of shorts.
Mm-hmm.
That would relax us, and then I would use cocaine.
So I've got a question. So did it affect your health in any way?
Massively.
Massively, yeah. Because you've been using it for like the last 20 years. Am I correct?
22 years.
22
yeah.
years.
I developed rashes between my ankle and my knee
Yeah.
on both legs, and then between my wrists and my elbows on both arms.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I could describe it is it would be, I would scratch until I would take the skin off. It would itch. The closer I got down, and it sounds quite graphic, but it is true. The closer I got to the bone, the more intense the itch would be, and I just couldn't stop. And I would have big scabs down my legs and up my arms.
Yes.
I had come out of a restaurant one night, and to what I can only describe as today, I remember opening up my box of cigarettes, and I pulled out a cigarette at a time, and I fell asleep on the spot. So the cold air had hit me.
Okay.
And the restaurant obviously had CCTV, they picked it up, so they were able to watch back and find out exactly what had happened. But I'd effectively just fallen over. I've gone to sleep on the spot, and cracked my head open. So I had a fractured skull and internal bleed on my brain. I woke up in A&E, and I went on to an ENT ward for 6 weeks as a result of that. And I couldn't eat properly, I couldn't talk properly, I couldn't remember my name. Not to sound graphic, but all my bowels had stopped working. And I had to effectively learn everything over again. There have been multiple times where I have become violent with very good friends of mine, people who I would, to this day, I didn't know why I did, but sure it wouldn't be horrible to them today. I wouldn't say anything horrible to them today, but I would be violent towards them. And mentally, I developed anxiety and depression. Those were the real ones that affected me, I suppose, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
So when I would use alcohol and cocaine, I would go on to a session for a couple of days, say 48 hours. And when I used to come out of them and go into my, what do we say, when I'm then hungover,
Yes.
so that the alcohol started to withdraw,
Mm-hmm.
I would go into anxiety attacks where I'd watch the television screen and there was too many bright colours, and I would then have a reaction to that and I would go into a fit.
Wow.
And then I would use then alcohol again then
On
to
top of
relax
it.
myself.
Okay.
So yeah,
It was, well, I'm glad you're out of it now,
yeah.
and we just pray it goes on. You know, you stay like this. There are so many viewers out there who I'm sure are watching this, and they need a bit of advice. Can you give them some advice? What advice would you give them?
For me, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I don't know if she's an addict or if she isn't. So when you ask me what advice I'd give to other people, I think about my daughter. The program that I work allows me to be spiritual around people, and through that program, I find then that my daughter is mimicking her father. So she's getting to learn the positive things about being an addict. So I'm hoping that in some way my daughter will never feel not nurtured or never feel not loved, because she will her daddy has effectively broken the cycle. So I suppose for me, my beliefs is to feel nurtured. It's to, if I was loved and I felt nurtured as a child, maybe I wouldn't have embarked on this journey. Some people, guys out there, you know, the audience, you are powerless over situations like that, whether you're loved or whether you're not loved by your parents or family members or whatever it may be. So I suppose my advice would be to reach out, you know, and ask, you know, really look at your behaviours, because as addicts go, it's not just drugs. It can be chocolate, it can be sweets, it can be, you know, dare I say, it can be sex, it can be porn, it could be anything.
Yes.
We become addicted to.
Yeah.
So it's really looking at our behaviours, and asking someone else, and that's, I think, was the toughest thing for me.
Yes. Having to ask somebody else.
You know,
Basically.
the addict doesn't want me talking or asking anyone.
Yes.
So if I think, or if I felt back in the day that there was something maybe wrong with me, I just wish there had been someone there that would have been, do you know what, it's okay.
Okay. Yes.
Come and have a chat. Just ask the question. There's no shame in it. And I suppose that's.
Thank you so much, Elliot. It's been great having you here for the first segment. Guys, if there's anyone out there who's watching this show who has an addiction, like Elliot just said, it could be any type of addiction, you are entitled to help. There are so many charities out there available for help. You can even contact us at the Stella King Show. Our email address is stellakingshow@email.com. Our Facebook account is Stella King Show, and our Instagram is the Stella King Show. You're welcome to message us, to email us, anything, and also anyone going through drug abuse. The NHS actually gives you free help. It doesn't just have to be a health problem. It can be an addiction problem to do with drugs, and they're willing to give you help. So yes, if you need that help, make sure you go out there and get it. It's really important. Hello and welcome back to the second segment. I'm your host, Stella King, once again, and we have another special guest on the show with us today. Hi, Akin.
Hi, Stella.
How are you?
I'm good.
He's actually known as Akin Menzo. Most of you might know him on social media. And we have Elliot once again. So, yes, let's start. So our topic for the second segment is about social media. What kind of impact does the social media have today in our society? So, Akin, let's start with you.
Social media is a very big tool. First of all, it's for passing information. Social media is the only tool whereby you can reach a targeted audience outside people, say young people. And also it's got devices as well. And because it can be used for both good or bad, obviously drugs can be involved as well, because we've seen people sell stuff on social media. I use Snapchat a lot, and I know people that sell stuff and do some other illegal stuff on it. And it's easy to get people because all you have to do is just send your location and you meet someone. And so social media plays a big role in that. And don't forget, whatever's got positive has got negative as well.
Yes, that's true.
What
You know that,
you're
yeah.
marketing on that.
Okay. What do you have to say about social media, Elliot?
That's, yeah, for me, Hakeem, you did not the nail on the head completely. I remember my last lapse, and it was, I woke up at midnight, so I suffer with night terrors. I woke up at midnight, and I felt alone. Alone and lonely, and I picked up my phone, and on Snapchat there was an old dealer of mine who I hadn't spoke to for goodness knows what 16 months, and it had 2 flake emojis and a nose emoji, and underneath it said hashtag get at me.
Get at me.
And I have them, what our program teaches us, I had what's called the mental twist, where I thought to myself, do you know what, and I hit the, what we call, not to swear on set, the fudge it button.
Okay.
I hit that button and I said, you know what, and I suppose effectively what I'm trying to say is that what I now know is that it wasn't the cocaine that I wanted, it was, I felt lonely. But social media played a great part in that, because it's easy.
You feel like social media, like you said, there's both a positive and negative part to social media. So we can say social media also plays a negative part in that people now go to social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat to find some sort of love, some sort of need or care, which they don't find normally outside or with their family or individuals.
That's correct.
So you are a king of Snapchat. Like, I know most people watching probably remember him, Akin Menzo, and he has a high following on Snapchat. As you can see, he's got the Snapchat glasses on. So you probably know a lot more about.
I need a pair of those.
Yeah, you need to get a pair of that. You probably know a lot more than we do about social media. I know we air this show on social media, so obviously it shows us a good platform as well. But we know it has its negative parts. So.
Well, like we said, the negative part is for people that are dealing with illegal substances, so they can always reach out to people, and they use emojis, like you said as well, and they send messages to random people. So if you're interested, you get at them. If you're not interested, you ignore. But the fact is, you're gonna get such messages from random people.
I'm just worried about more of our younger people. Teenagers, young kids who are getting into social media. That is what I'm actually worried about.
Yeah, that's correct. So so you cannot really curb it on social media, because the fact that you're on the internet out there, anyone can contact you, anyone can reach you. And the thing is, even if you're looking for something, you can always find. There are always people out there. There are so many codes they use as well. And so it really helps. And the only thing we can say is, at the end of the day, is a decision. If you want to go forward into it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't let people force you into what you don't want to do. You know, but peer pressure as well is part of it, because when your friends are into it and you're bullying and things like that come in,
yeah, we've heard a lot in the media how people have had bullying done over the internet, which has led to physical fights and eventually deaths, you know, in young people. How do you feel we can prevent things like this?
To be honest, it's really hard. The first thing I would say is make yourself private so you don't get random messages from people.
Okay, yeah.
And but then when it comes to peer pressure, if you have a good friend that tells you good things about these things, how it works, effect, it doesn't do anything, they encourage you. That's another thing, because sometimes you trust your friend because they're the only ones there for you. Like you said about the family as well, the parents are not there for him, so you end up falling on friends or elders or people in the street that try to be nice to you, but they want to use you for something else.
Like you do hear about these young teenagers, and you hear about paedophiles, you know, elderly men who are going after younger ladies who are predators, and it usually happens online on these sets.
Them nice fancy things.
Exactly, yes. So when it comes to social media, now we know, okay, we've embarked a lot more on the negative part of things, but again, like I said, it can be positive. So when it comes to positivity, like Akin, I know for instance, you use Snapchat to help a lot of people. So can you explain?
Well, I just come up with different ideas. First of all, I had a huge following on Snapchat, so I just birthday shout out for people, shout them out, tell them to send pictures, which kind of make them feel good, and they get followers. People add them. I also sell stuff. I sell stuff on behalf of people. If people want to sell off some certain thing, to tell me, how can you put this in your Snap, and if anyone's interested, so that's the positive side. I share information, events, flyers, activities happening, for anyone that wants to be a part of it. So basically, that's a good part of it. Information, awareness, reaching out to people and letting people know what's happening, because not everyone's gonna have access to the content that you have. I follow certain people on Twitter, so I get to know what's happening everywhere. And I bring on my Snapchat, so a huge fan base of mine or different people from all across the world get to see this content, so they have it on my own platform.
Alright, Elliot, for instance, you do your vlogs on Facebook. Yeah, so that's obviously something that's good. It's a great impact. You're highlighting social media in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Akeem was saying, about the positive impact, that he has on his social media platforms, and that, I agree with him, and I identify, in that you can't control what you see, and that if children, adolescent teenagers want to go and use drugs, they can access it online. How do I, not myself personally, but how do we as a nation, as a world, combat that? And that is that, so if there is as much access to getting drugs online, then for me personally, I would like to see as much access to, like people telling their journeys and their stories around the impact, and the negative impact of using drugs. So, for example, if someone, like I suffered with that, that night where it popped up on Snapchat, I subsequently now, because of that, has stopped, and I deleted my Snapchat. On Facebook now, I would go on a search for groups around addiction and listen to people's stories. And the more I see it, I suppose Facebook then recognise that, and it's all through the algorithms. So what they're doing is that they are then pushing more of that sort of content onto our newsfeed.
Yes.
So that I see it.
Yeah.
So I just find that I started my journey vlogging, Stella's, around 6 months ago, and I a lot like Akin does. I ask people, to turn on their notifications to my vlogs. A lot of people don't even know about that. So my vlogs come up, I do a live feed, and it will pop up on their news feed. So that's one thing. And another would be, to encourage people to share, these live feeds and vlogs, because again, it's, for someone to come out and say, I might have a problem with drugs and alcohol, there's so much shame and so much, if I come out, what my family say, what my friends say, how I'll be viewed. I don't even know if I am an addict. Am I one? I don't know. I think as much exposure as possible.
That's the word, exposure. Yes. Yeah. I do feel like personally, in order to highlight social media in a positive way and not use it as a negative way anymore, I think that we need to raise more awareness. Like if it's parents, individuals, people, about what is actually taking place in social media, if more people speak out and actually use these tools, because they are actually tools with us, and it's either we decide how we choose to use them, whether we want to put it in the right light or in a negative light. So it depends on us as individuals and as people how we portray things. So yes, so that will be it for today's show. Thank you, Akin, and thank you so much, Elliot, for coming on the show. Now, can you guys give your Facebook, Instagram, and all your information out there? Akin?
So my Instagram is Akinmenzo, my Twitter is Akin, Facebook is Akin the Realist, and my Snapchat is Snapchat TV 100, Snap TV 100.
Okay, and Elliot?
Cool. So my Instagram is Elliot9292. So that's Elliot with 2 L's and 2 T's. And my Facebook page can be found by typing in The Daily Life of an Addict into the search bar at the top of Facebook, or at TDLOAA. Again, it's the top of the search bar on Facebook.
Alright guys, thank you once again, and thank you everyone out there for watching. Remember, you can always email us at stellakingshow@email.com, or our Instagram at Stella King Show, or Facebook account at Stella King Show. Thank you, and until next time, bye.
Preview TV, new media with a difference.